Hello everyone. Hello everyone. This is the second part of our video. If you have not checked yet the first part of our video, please do check it first. Okay. So let's begin our second part. Best adapted to light hair person, skin and muscle lax is mercurius. Mercor is a disease of a man's syphilitic ulcer, corroding acrid pus, Bright's disease. That it is a syphilitic medicine. So everything you will find will be syphilitic. Mesothelium is for light hair, irresolute person of phlegmatic temperament. Muriatic acid is for a person with black hair, dark eye, dark complexion. Black hair, dark eye, dark complexion. Okay. Then we have nitric acid, especially suited to a person of thin rigid fiber, dark complexion, black hair and eyes, the brunette rather than the blonde. Nervous temperament, person suffering with chronic disease who take cold easily. That is, nitric acid is also chilly and disposed to diarrhea. Rarely to those who suffer from constipation. Nitric acid person would never suffer from constipation. Okay. Then we have our Nux moscata. It is especially adapted to a women and children of nervous hysterical temperament, to a people with dry skin who rarely perspire, complaints of pregnancy. It is mainly used in complaints of pregnancy who don't perspire, have dry skin. Okay. What is for Nux vomica? Nux vomica is thin, irritable, careful, zealous person with dark hair and bilious sanguine temperament, disposed to be quarrelsome, spiteful, malicious, nervous, melancholic, debauches of thin, irritable, nervous disposition, prone to indigestion and hemorrhoids. If same as of Nux vomica, but the person is of light hair and blue eyes, then it will be lobelia. And for Nux vomica, it is dark hair. Okay. Opium, especially adapted to children and old people. Adapted to children and old people. Disease of first and second childhood. Person with light hair, lax muscle, want bodily irritability. Okay, petroleum is adapted for light hair and skin. It is also light hair and skin. Irritable, quarrelsome disposition as of Nux vomica. Phosphoric acid is suited to a person originally strong constitution who have debilitated by loss of fluids, sexual access, violent acute disease, chagrin, long succession of moral emotions as of grief, care, disappointment, affection, pale, sickly complexion is phosphoric acid. It is grief, care, disappointment, pale, sickly complexion is phosphoric acid. Okay. Phosphorus, it is adapted to tall, slender person of a sanguine temperament, fair skin, delicate eyelash, fine blonde red hair, quick perception and very sensitive nature. Phytolacodendron is for rheumatic diathesis, rheumatism of fibrous and periosteal tissue, mercurial or syphilitic affection. Phytolaca is for rheumatic diathesis and of fibrous and periosteal tissue. Okay. What is for picric acid? It is a restorative of wasted and worn out system, a fair picture of nervous prostration. Platina is adapted for a woman of dark hair, rigid fiber, thin, and of sanguine temperament who suffer from too early and too profuse menses. The menses would be too early and too profuse. Platina, it is adapted to a woman, dark hair, rigid fiber, thin, of sanguine temperament who suffer from too early to profuse menses. Platina, sorry. Podophyllum, it is adapted to a person of bilious temperament who suffer from gastrointestinal derangement, especially after abuse of mercury, that is bilious attack. Especially adapted to a sorry constitution is sorinum. Now our pulsatilla nigricans. Adapted to a person of indecisive, slow, phlegmatic temperament, sandy hair, blue eyes, pale face, easily moved to laughter or tears. Affectionate, mild, gentle, timid, yielding disposition. The woman's remedy, especially in the disease of women and children. Women's inclined to be fleshy with scanty and protracted menstruation, as of graphitis. Rustox is for rheumatic diathesis. Rumex is for tubercular diathesis. Extremely sensitive skin and mucous membrane. Sabadilla is for light hair, fair complexion with weak, relaxed muscular system. Sambucus is for scrofulous children, adapted for air passage especially. It is especially for respiratory complaints as of. Sarsaparilla is for dark-haired person, lithic or psychotic diathesis. In children's, face is like old people, enlarged abdomen, dark flabby skin. Sickle core is for thin, scrawny, feeble, cacatic appearance, irritable, nervous temperament, pale, sunken countenance, very old, deprecate, feeble person. Okay. Selenium is for adapted for light complexion, blondes, great emaciation of face, hands, legs, feet, or single part. There will be emaciation of a single part. Okay. In sepia, it is also for dark hair, rigid fiber, but mild and easy disposition. Silesia terra is of nervous, irritable, sanguine temperament, person of psoric diathesis. Person of light complexion, fine dry skin, pale, weakly, lacks fiber. Constitution who suffer from deficient nutrition not because lacking of food in quality or quantity but from imperfect assimilation. Oversensitive physically and mentally. Okay. Then we have Spigelia. Spigelia is anemic, debilitated, rheumatic diathesis, scrofulous children affected with ascaride lumbricoid. As of China and sternum, it is also having worm affection. Spigelia. Person with light hair, pale, thin, bloated, weak, wrinkled, yellow, earthy skin. Okay. Then we have next Spongia tostum. Spongia is for tubercular diathesis, especially adapted to disease of children and women. Light hair, lacks fiber, fair complexion. As of chromium is of Spongia. Okay. Then we have Stramonium, adapted to ailment of young plethoric person, especially children in chorea, mania or fever delirium. Then we have sulfur. Sulfur में क्या है? Person of scrofulous diathesis, subjected to venous congestion, especially of a portal system. Person of nervous temperament, quick and motion, quick temperament, plethoric, excessively sensitive to atmospheric change. For lean, stoop-shouldered person who walk and sit stooping like a old man. Sulfuric acid adapted to a light-haired old people, especially women, flushes of heat in a climatic years. What is thuja for? It is adapted for an hydrogenoid constitution, which is related to a psychosis, as it is a cause. Acts well in a lymphatic temperament and in a very fleshy person. It is of a dark complexion, dark hair, and unhealthy skin. Okay. Tuberculinum, it is adapted to a person of light complexion, blue eyes, blonde, to burn it. Tall, slimy, flat, narrow chest, active or precocious mental, physically weak, the tubercular diathesis. Then we have Veratrum album. For a children or old people, the extreme of life, a person who are habitually cold and deficient in vital reaction, young people of nervous sanguine temperament. Young people of nervous sanguine temperament. What is for Veratrum viridi? A full-blooded plethoric person. What is a zincum? A person suffering from cerebral or nervous exhaustion. Defective vitality, brain or nerve power wanting, too weak to develop exanthema or menstrual function, to expectorate, to urinate, or to comprehend, to memorize is zincum. Okay. Then we are on our ending part. Let us learn some constitutions from Boric 2, adapted to fleshy subject with dyspepsia and cadral affection, high standards of living, rated high livers. Those whose standards of high of living is LM sativum. Then we have Aloe secretrina. It is mainly for lymphatic and hypochondriacal patient is for aloe. Then for Ambula gracia, it is nervous, bilious temperament, thin, scrawny woman, adapted to hysterical subjects or for those suffering from spinal irritation with convulsive cough and eructations. Ammonium carb is for stout women who are always tired, weak, easily takes cold easily, suffer from cholera-like symptoms before menses, lead a sedentary life, have a slow reaction generally, and disposed to frequent use of smelling bottles. Ammonium mure is especially adapted to fat, sluggish patients who have respiratory troubles. Ammonium mure is for respiratory troubles. We get here. Arena dymoma. It is a spider. It is of hydrogenoid constitution. Abnormal sensitive to damp and cold. Inability to live near freshwater lakes. Arnica, it acts best in plethoric, dark-haired people of rigid muscle with nervous and sanguine nature, but it acts feebly and debilitated with improvised blood. Is Arnica. Then we have Asterias rubens. For psychotic diathesis, flabby lymphatic constitution, flappy with red face. What is for aurum mate? Aurum mate is implanted for scrofulous constitution. We have one of the most intractable morbid condition. Gold seems to be especially suited to a viable combination. Basilinum is indicated for lungs of old people with chronic arterial condition and feeble pulmonary circulation, attack of suffocation at night with difficult cough. It is for lung suffocation, chronic arterial. There is suffocation at night. Okay. Baraita carb is especially aided for scrofulous children, especially if they are of backward, mentally and physically are dwarfish, do not grow, develop, have scrofulous ophthalmia, swollen abdomen, take cold easily, and always have a swollen tonsils. Belladonna is a great remedy for children. Bovista adapted to stammering children of old maid with palpitation. This is a golden combo. You should remember it. Stammering children's old maid with palpitation. Okay. Tetary patients. Bromium is especially affected to scrofulous children with enlarged gland, blonde type. Brynia alba is for a constitution was robust, firm fiber, dark complexion with tendency to leanness and irritability. What is for Calcarea carb? This is a great antisoric of a constitution remedy per excellence. Its chief action is centered in a vegetative sphere. Impaired nutrition is a keynote of its action. The gland, skin, and bone being instrument in the change of water. Calcarea fos is in anemic children who have peevish, flabby, and have cold extremities and feeble digestion. Capsicum is for a person of lax, weak, and diminished vital. A relaxed plethoric sluggish cold remedy. Carbo animalis seems to be especially adapted to scrofulous and venous constitutions. Old people after debilitating disease with a feeble circulation and low vitality. Carbonium sulfuratum, very useful in patients broken down by abuse of alcohol. Colophyllum is woman's remedy, want of tonicity in a womb. Inea, it would be China. C. It is a children's remedy. Big fat rosy scrofulous corresponding to many conditions that have been referred in intestinal irritation such as worms accompanying complaints. Secretus candidiasis, it is a deep antisoric remedy. Marked action in glandular affection, herpetic eruption, chronic swelling when a patient is extremely sensitive to cold. Clematis erratica is scrofulous, rheumatic, gonorrheal and syphilitic patients. Colocin is especially suited for irritable person easily angered and ill effect therefore. Women with copious menstruation and sedentary habits. Women with copious menstruation and sedentary habit, person with tendency to corpulency. Conium mac is an old remedy. Renders a classic by plotographic description of its employment in the death of Socrates. Ignitia is a blood dyscrasia, character of blood dyscrasia. Fluoric acid is adapted for chronic disease with syphilitic and mercular history. Glabella region bloated. And then we are about to end graphitis. Okay. It is an antisoric remedy, a great power, especially active in patients who are rather stout, fair complexion with a tendency to skin affection and constipation. Fat, chilly, costive, that is constipated. With delayed menstrual history, take colds easily, children imprudent, teasing, and laughed at appearance. Heparself is best adapted to scrofulous and lymphatic constitution who are inclined to eruptions and glandular swellings. Unhealthy skin, blondes with sluggish character and weak muscles. Great sensitiveness to all impressions. Caliphos is one of the greatest nerves remedy. Creosote is for overgrown, poorly developed children, post-climatic disease, tummification, puffiness, gangrene, ailment from teething children. Lechianthus is for tuberculosis in a light complexion people. Lithium carb is for chronic rheumatism connected with heart lesion. Asthenophobia for this remedy offers. Lobelia inflata is best adapted to light complexion fleshy people. Lycopodium is thin-witted people full of gas and dry. It corresponds to graviole carbonitrogenous constitution, non-eliminative lithymic, mild temperament of lymphatic constitution with catral tendency. Older person where the skin shows yellowish spot, earthy complexions, uric acid diathesis. Midorinum is a powerful deep-acting medicine, often indicated for chronic ailment due to suppressed gonorrhea. Murens is adapted for nervous, lively, and affectionate women. Natramure is a prolonged taking of excessive salt cause profound nutritive change in the systems, resulting in salt retention, evidenced by dropsies, edematous, alteration in blood, causing condition of anemia and leukocytosis. Natrum phos is for excess of lactic acid, condition arising from excess of lactic acid, often resulting in from too much of sugar. Natrum sulfate is of liver remedy, especially indicated in hydrogenated constitution where complaints are due to living in damp basements and cellars. Okay, now we are at the end. Nux vomica is is rather thin, spare, quick, active, nervous, irritable. It does a great deal of mental work, has a mental strain, leads to a sedentary life is Nux vomica. Petroleum is stromous diathesis, especially of dark type, who suffer from catral condition of mucous membrane, gastric acidity, and cutaneous eruptions. Platinum metallicum is preeminently women's remedy. Podophyllum is for bilious temperament. Soranum is for psoriatic manifestation. Pulsatilla is used for an abuse of iron tonics, badly managed measles, symptoms always changing, thirstless, feverish, and chilling. CPI is for chronic hepatic troubles. It is for liver and uterine reflexes. Acts best in burnouts. Spongia is for fair complexion, lax, and swollen glands as of adenitis. Okay, so we will continue now next time. Thank you.